Hello, this is another life and business update. The last time I spoke to you, I was a little bit disillusioned about social media and decided that I was going to hit pause, which I did over the holidays. Holidays was amazing, in case you're wondering. Had my family in Tulum and it was really nice having them here. It was the first time they visited since the 4.5 years I've been living here, and they had a lot of fun and I enjoyed having them here. So before we get into it, my name's Adaku Mbagu. I am a firstborn daughter guide and I support firstborn daughters who are female entrepreneurs and executives. I help them reach the pinnacle of success without stress. And this video, I'm going to tell you about the epiphanies that I've come to in relation to social media and marketing and building my brand. So after I made the last video, the next day I took the challenge into meditation and I kind of had a conversation with God and I asked for clarity in terms of the next steps. And later that day, I meditated in the morning. I was about to fall asleep, and before I fell asleep, the thing that came to front of mind was podcast. I was thinking, podcast, okay. And the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, this makes sense, because if I'm niching on firstborn daughters, I can create a space where people can hear stories that are similar to each other by interviewing these women. And if I interview first daughters who are entrepreneurs and executives, I'm reaching out to my target market. So those interview guests could potentially be clients that are part of the membership. And then outside of that, a podcast will allow me to create long form content that can be chopped up, which is going to be a lot easier than recording individual videos to post on social media. I can just kind of have an hour-long conversation and maybe get 5 to 10 or more clips from that I can repurpose on the platform. So I was like, okay, this sounds pretty good. And then also I can get people who interview to promote it for me. And seeing as it's their interview, they'll have a vested interest in sharing it. So the reach can scale quicker than me just doing this on my own. What other benefits does it have? I can also do podcast interviews, which will allow me to direct people either to the podcast, to my socials, or to my website. So it made so much sense. So that's what I'm going to be launching soon. I'm just kind of figuring out the system of it in terms of the intro email, the Calendly questionnaire, the aftercare process in terms of creating assets for people to be able to post, etc. So I'm working on that now. The other thing that I realize is that rather than relying on just posting to raise my profile, I need to do some other activities. So the other thing that I have decided to do is more speaking engagements. So this month, actually next week, I am speaking to 2 associations or groups. There's a men's group of which the founder has gone through my work and wants me to take the other men through the work. So I'm going to be presenting to them and coaching them so they'll get to experience my work. And then there's a group of female attorneys that I'm also going to be presenting to. So I want to do a lot more of these groups where people have created their own communities that are already engaged, that already have trust. And then I'm kind of going in to add value, because then that will give me a warm entry point into new people. And if I am also doing other speaking engagements, not only with the podcast, but at conferences, it will allow me to have more visibility. Every year I come up with a word, and in alignment with some of you might see in the video, me increasing my impact, I haven't been visible. So my word that I'm carrying into everything I do is, am I showing up and getting the maximum visibility? So doing speaking engagements at conferences, the benefit of that is that I have a captive audience for a period of time, and I get to either move them and enroll them in who I am and the knowledge that I have and what I do. And then for those who want to stay in touch with me, they will invite themselves into my ecosystem. So they'll follow me, they will sign up to my newsletter. So I've got to put myself out there a bit more until there comes a tipping point where, like, the things that I've got out there are generally bringing people in. So those are the three key areas. I'm going to be launching the podcast. I'm going to be speaking to other people's communities and doing more speaking engagements. The last thing I'm going to add to that is trying to get more on publications, because the women that I want to work with are operating at a pretty high level. And one of the things that they look for is credibility. And if they Google me and I'm able to be seen on certain publications like Huffington Post or Forbes or anything like that, it will help with my credibility. So I'm also going to be looking at ways to get into those publications. So this is a lot of stuff to do. And I have decided I don't want to do it all because it's not good use of my time. So there's certain things that I have to do as the brand, but I'm going to be hiring an assistant. So either this week or next week, I am committed to have hired someone to help me because it's too much. And the other thing that I was actually approached about something in terms of working with someone to integrate AI into what I do. And it was an interesting conversation, and I considered the partnership, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. So I want to hire a tech person to look at how I can systemize and optimize what I'm doing also, because I'm not the best at keeping up with technology, but if I can bring someone in to review what I have in place and make suggestions on things I can start implementing, and it's going to be an iterative process. So those are the key things that I'm doing in my business starting off the year. It's really around looking at how I can create more visibility in terms of getting myself out there. In terms of launching my membership and ongoing sales, I'm actually reading a book called Oversubscribe, which I would recommend. And it talks about doing campaigns. So I'm still in the study process of that, but I will probably implement that also to start kind of testing and seeing what people are interested in, whether my language is resonating, if people are enrolled in applying for the membership because it's application only. So yeah, so this journey is about lifting the veil, showing you all of the things that I'm trialing, things that are working, things that are not working, and that's the next phase of what I'm up to. So in the next life and business update, I will let you know where I am with the implementation of those things. And I'd love to know whether you are going to try any of these things that I'm trying, whether you've already tried it and what results you're getting or seeing. And if you have any feedback about what you'd like to know in terms of what I'm sharing, please comment and let me know. This is a community thing. I wanted to bring you along on the journey. This isn't just about me. This is about other entrepreneurs out there who are in that stage of scaling from being a solopreneur to actually creating a business. I want to hear from you. I want to be as supportive as I can, and I want to learn too. So until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and if there's someone in a similar position, share. This might be helpful for them. All right, and I'll see you in the next video.